It's the Unity, Reunion, Parade, Cookout, Line Dance Party, Backyard, Barbecue, Fish Fry, Vegan Soul, Black Business, Food Truck, Networking, Outdoor, Concert, Music, Festival, Celebration of the Year. Featuring Tidra Moses, Talib Kweli and Jay Walls, Marsha Ambrosius, Common and Pete Rock. Get tickets now at OhioBlackExpo.com. That's OhioBlackExpo.com.
African Diaspora News Channel will be broadcasting live. Join Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, and Denisha Kay from C-Bus. Get your tickets today.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At cprfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Callan Cash Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at cprfirm.com.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Make sure you pick up my 2 books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
I'm usually known as Cinderella around Joburg. The biggest misconception about you? Nothing. It's all true. It's all true. It's all true. If you hear something, believe it. Like sometimes I'm just in it because like I want things. I want money. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
But in this times where this guy's fine. Yeah. Like I want to have fun. Yeah. One thing about me, one thing about this whole industry is that you shouldn't care. I date mostly like married men, because I don't have that type of time for you.
Oh, yeah.
And you are married, you don't have that type of time for me. His wife, one day I just like 11 o'clock, I'm like, okay. She's like, my husband can't control himself, and you as a woman, you can't. I said, Mama, you can't even speak English, like, I can't even understand, like.
Watch Slay Queen only on the African Diaspora News Channel app.
From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. A key location in the history of the transatlantic slave trade and the story of our foundational Black American ancestors. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. We'll visit historic sites like Elmina Castle and Cape Coast, where you'll see with your own eyes what our ancestors endured. You'll also experience modern Ghana, the culture, the people, the food, and the history they carry, giving you a broader understanding of how our story intersects with theirs. If you've ever wanted to deepen your understanding of our history, this is your opportunity. There are 25 spots available, and once those spots are gone, that's it. So don't wait. Secure your spot today by paying a deposit and be part of this unforgettable journey. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
What if I told you there's a news platform made just for us? Unfiltered, unapologetic, telling our stories from Africa and the diaspora. The African Diaspora News Channel app keeps you informed and empowered from wherever you are at any time. Don't just watch, join the movement. Download the app now and stay connected to the news that matters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank y'all for joining us this evening. It is my pleasure to be with you. We didn't have no technical difficulties, nothing like that, which is beautiful. It's always a beautiful thing. It is Thursday, this weekend. A lot of people are graduating. A niece of mine is graduating, and shout out to her for graduating high school. That is, these kids grow up so fast, y'all. All these kids grow up so fast. I'm telling you, you just watch them and like, man, like what a time went with these kids. You understand what I'm saying? And, but it's good to see. It's good to see. So, Saturday, we'll be at the Ohio Black Expo. Saturday, we'll be taking the stage at 3 p.m. One thing I was quite shocked about was it'd actually be my first time in Columbus, Ohio, and I said this before. The weather, I saw looking at the weather, I said, make sure I bring the right kind of clothes. And, down here, it's hot already. It's hot down in Houston and all that. But look up there, I'm like in the 40s, like mid 40s and 60s. Like, really? This time of year? I'm like, wow. Because them temperatures been gone for us down here. We are in the South, baby. And it's always hot down here in the South. But that's all right. So I'm going to enjoy that weather, at least for the short amount of time be there. I'm going to enjoy that weather. And, yeah. Oh, you say your nephew's graduating from high school. Beautiful, beautiful. Make sure, as always, we'd like to get, if we can, 10 people to join the ADNC app as we try to get to our ultimate goal. And our ultimate goal is 10,000 members on our app. We're growing, but we want to get to that particular, at least that first milestone. So 10 people can join on the app, whether it's monthly, quarterly, annual, or lifetime. Lifetime, you don't have to worry about price increases, none of that. Once you lock in on lifetime, because January 1 of 2026, it will go up. Like I said, we held that back this year, but by January 1, it will go up. So, hey, if you say, hey, I'm going to secure lifetime, I ain't worrying about it, and there's only really 100 lifetime spots, well, I'm going to say 98 now. Lifetime spots, so get them while you can, because everything is not lifetime. Also, the Ghana trip, make sure you secure your spot there. Now we have 16 spots. Somebody secured their spot. So now there's 16 spots left. There's $199 down deposit to do that. And to go with us to Ghana, because, people may be focused on graduation this week, but after this week or summer months, people like, well, let me go ahead and secure that spot real quick for too many people, because, one person could secure many spots. Actually, one person did, from what I saw. So you want to get in if you want to go, you and your lady, you and your man, maybe you want to take your kids, maybe you want to take the whole family. Like I said, I remember in South Africa, they had a whole family went, mom, dad, and the 3 kids. So, people do that. Hey, and take your kids. I think kids should travel outside the United States, see different things. There's also history that we'll see to this as well, because history is also very important. And it's not nothing you got to see every day, but hey, at least you say, hey, I was there, I saw it, I know what it was, and I got to look into some things. Okay, and then after that, you can come on back to the United States. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So you know what? I didn't put that in there. Hold on. Give me a second. I thought I did before we get started here. Now, you know we've been talking about South Africa, and I'm going to talk about them again because we've been getting a master class in propaganda, okay? And propaganda is very dangerous. Propaganda is how the white supremacists justify their anytime they want to do something, they use propaganda. And the propaganda is always built on lies, falsehoods, okay? And they do it so much and carpet bomb you with a propaganda, even though people are saying that's not true. What are you talking about? Like, look, this isn't true. This isn't true. This isn't true. If you don't challenge it, if you don't keep staying on the propaganda, people will start believing it. People will believe the lie as it's true if people keep saying it and saying it with passion. They'll believe that junk. Reality speaking, a lot of people's not going to look nothing up. I'm just going to keep it real with you. They're not. Now, I enjoy researching. I'll lay in my bed and research. Like, ooh, let me think about this. And I'm researching. Ooh, let me think about that. So I love to research. I just don't like people to tell me something. I'm saying, let me go look into that so I know for myself. I read it myself. And, you know, it's part of my job to do a lot of reading and research, right? And that's fine. So with this so-called white genocide stuff in South Africa, everyone knows is not true. Everyone knows this. We're going to get back into this, but also kind of get into something else that they had this academic by the name of Piet Croucamp. Am I saying his name right? Hold on, let me make sure I say his name. Hold on, I'm going to look at his name. Croucamp. I'm sorry, Croucamp. Sorry, sir, saying your name wrong. But he talked about this. Now, he is a scholar at one of the South African universities, I think Northwest University, if I'm not mistaken, out there in South Africa. And he was interviewed about this so-called white genocide that's not true. It's a conspiracy theory, a lie, deceitful. But we know even as FBAs how they will lie and lie and lie to try to get, things happen to us. I mean, a lot of these terrorist acts that happen to FBAs was started off of white supremacist lies and white supremacist propaganda that's been done in this country. So remember when I told you no matter where they at, they are the same? They are the same everywhere they go. We're talking about the white supremacists. I'm not talking about, people who are good people, because there are white people out here that are decent people. They're not like that. They don't believe in the white supremacy. They trying to get away from that. They don't like their name being dragged into it. But unfortunately, we have to address that, okay? Now, and we're going to address Elon Musk because he keeps lying too. He's lying not about the genocide. He's lying about the situation with Starlink. And so I want to get into that as well and show you how he's constantly lying, right? All right. So let me go ahead and cue this clip up, and then we're going to kind of stop it. We're going to play it first, and we're going to stop it and give you some information that's kind of like, it's crazy. All right, that's the lady on the screen. Let's go ahead and hit the play button. I forgot to hit my other button here. Hold on.
Is there a white genocide in South Africa?
No, there's no sign of it. Never has been. In fact, whites are economically the strongest group. They benefited from democracy more than anybody else. 64% of all boardrooms in South Africa are still white. The average income of white South Africans are vastly higher than black South Africans. No. There are better schools, there are better education, private health care. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
Has any land been expropriated in South Africa without compensation since the first all-race election in this country?
I'm not aware of anyone. Not a single farm that I'm aware of was expropriated without compensation since 1994.
So how do we interpret President Trump's executive order?
It is possible that South Africa has offended the United States with his policy on Palestinians, and it could be that with his policy on Russia, the ambiguities of those policies and its relationship with the Chinese. It could be. I think that does play a role. But there was something very, very sensitive that was touched upon. And in South Africa, right-wing groups, so-called civil society groups, we know that they have access to the Trump administration because they claim that. And if you listen to what Trump has said, it corresponds exactly with the genocide narrative that they sell and that they market, and that whites are victims of the democratic system and the constitution of South Africa and legislation. So there's an overlay, there's an immediate overlay, there's an unquestionable overlay between what Trump says and these right-wing groups have said. So I'm afraid I have to believe them when they say they have direct access to the Trump administration, and we see it in what Trump has been doing.
All right. So I want y'all to hear that whole clip, before we start stopping it, right? And I see more people slowly coming in. Hey, we get started at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time over here, folks. So I see y'all slowly coming in. All right. Let's go ahead on and start it back up again. Let's get into some facts here.
Is there a white genocide in South Africa?
No, there's no sign of it. Never has been. In fact, whites are economically the strongest group. They benefited from democracy more than anybody else. 64% of all boardrooms in South Africa are still white. The average income of white South Africans are vastly higher than black South Africans. No. There are better schools, there are better education, private health care. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
All right. So the gentleman says that South Africa, which I know is the land of milk and honey if you are a Afrikaner, another name from Boer, white South African, whatever you want to say. It took me a while to say white South African, beyond which it took me, I couldn't say it for a long while. I'm like, how y'all call them people African, if anything? I say they're Europeans. You can call them that. We can call them Boers, sure. But how you gonna call them African? But then sometimes you gotta you can't, hey, that's what they want to call them. I call them that too. Do I believe they're any kind of African? Hell no. Now, they're from the mountain of Caucasus, and we can call them that, but they're, as an African, no. But for the sake of just, some battles you just don't fight, right? And so I chose just not to fight certain battles. I'm gonna let Renell Way and them fight that battle, and the lady and them, let them fight that battle. I deal with more of the battles with FBA, that's for sure. I battle more so I know, what I'm doing a little bit more, but not to say I can't touch on white supremacy globally, and that's what we're trying to do here. Now, just to give you some, so I looked into what this gentleman was saying about the income disparity, right? And the income disparity is very vast between white people, then underneath them, Indian or Asian people. Then you got the colored people, right? Now, and I know some of you, and that's another thing I had to learn about. If you first go to South Africa, you hear somebody say colored, we switch, say, huh? Colored? What you talking about? But in their country, and I said this before, people that in our country, I'll be considered black in our country, right? Drake or Alicia Keys would be considered black in this country. But in South Africa, I'm black. Drake and Alicia Keys are colored in their country. It makes sense? So you have to have basically two black parents to be called black in their country. Over there, you have one black parent, something else, you're colored. I don't argue that either. That's their history. That's their business. It has nothing to do with me. Now, so let's get to this income disparity. Now, let's look at this on the year, okay, between white and black. So I'm taking this from the statistics that we got from the South African government here, and I'm gonna even let me get it up on the screen so I can type this so y'all can see in American dollars what I'm typing here with my currency converter here. Hold on, let me type this in. 76,375. Give me a second. All right. So, as a matter of fact, let me get this on the screen so y'all can see this too. Boom. All right. Let me go a little down so y'all can see a little better. All right. So, white people have an annual income. Just talking about just annual. This is an average. This is not everybody. Just an average that the government took. $676,375, which in American dollars comes out to about $37,591.89, okay, a year. If we get down to black folk, now let's get to black folk. I'm going to show you exactly what black folks are getting. Black folks are getting 143,632 South African rand a year on average, which, as you see here, is close to $8,000 for the year. So white people is 37,000, almost 38,000 for the year average, and black people are averaging almost $8,000 a year. So we're talking about American dollars. Do you see that vast separation of income on averages? Of course, not every black person makes that. Of course, we know that. But we're talking about average, like America average, right? We got averages of income. Now, if you break that down by monthly income on average. So on monthly income with white people, they get about 56,364 rand a month. This is just an average, which put them at $3,132.73. It's just an average. Black South Africans, on average, you're talking about an average, and they are the majority. Okay, they're the majority. 11,969 rand, which put them at a grand total of just an average of $665.24 for black people in South Africa. And it's just an average. If you want to go to the colored community, if you look at the way that the money goes in South Africa, coloreds are making $21,735 average a month. So they're making more on average per month than black people. But if you look at this classification, it literally is following the classification of apartheid, if you know about the classification of apartheid. Now, the East Indians per month are making an average of $34,786, which put them at $19,3342. That's an average, okay? Then so white at the top, then Indian next, then colored, then black. Now, the interesting part about that, okay, let me see if I get back on the screen. I know I'm just giving a bunch of numbers, but it's very important until you see things in raw numbers. It helps you to understand what the disparity is. So white people are way up here and black people are way down here in South Africa, okay? When that man say they have the best schools, yeah, they got the best schools because they're making the most money. Yeah, they got the best houses. They got the best this. Now, do you have some poor whites there? Sure, of course you do. You know, like the Bible says, you got the poor with you always. But white people are doing so much better in South Africa. Listen, the first time I went to South Africa, I seen it. I seen it big as day. Like how they live so much better. And all that, when I heard the first time I heard them say the term genocide, I say, where? Them people are so comfortable over there in South Africa. They ain't not worrying about the black folk. Not at all. Now, they got their little YNs running around, I guess, committing crimes. But when you're choking out the black population, what you expect? I mean, look, it's that statement. The wolves got to eat. According to the disparity, you got it. That's why the wolves are coming towards you. What they going to do with another black person? They ain't got nothing for them to get. What, a cell phone? That's about all they gonna get. But when they trying to do some real robbing, they come and see y'all. That's why you want to make the economy equal, where everybody is benefiting the same. That way, crime won't come your way. Because if you living in a mansion and you just throwing food away, they starving. You remember that interview Tupac made that time? And he was talking about how when people have it, and then, he said that, hey, we hungry, please let us in. You remember that interview that Tupac did? And then he said that, at first you're asking, he said, then you're chanting. He said, then you start getting into, hey, we hungry, let us in. He said, then eventually we eventually unlocking the door, coming in, we start blasting because you just throwing food and all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what that is, what Tupac said. That these people in South Africa want to have all this money, all this access, all this resource, and brothers and sisters in South Africa, in places like Soweto and other places, they have to deal with load shedding, water shedding. I didn't know what water shedding was till maybe Naledi told me. She had told me about water shedding. I said, what is water shedding? I never heard of that. So basically water shedding is they cut your water off, y'all. For like, let's say if they're going to cut your water off for 6 hours. Like, could you imagine your water getting cut off? And it's not because you didn't pay your bill. Now, I was there before when they had load shedding. Load shedding is basically cut your lights off. But they have a schedule, like on the app. They have the app called Escom, that's their light company. And so they'll tell you, oh, we're stage whatever load shedding. So, hey, from 12 to 3, PM, your light's gonna be out. Now, if you got solar, it doesn't bother you. But if you don't, your light's out for 3 hours. Then after the 3 hours, your lights come right back on, like they said it would. It's not like they tell you that, then your lights don't come back on. But some people in the poorer locations, they can have load shedding for 12 hours. Now, them higher locations like your Santon and all them places like that where people got money, you're not going to deal with load. You're going to deal with it, but it won't be that long. Or maybe the building you in got solar or generators or whatever when that's going on. Now, they're really having that problem. I haven't heard nothing recent about it. Well, no. I think the lady recently told me they were load shedding in her location. That's why she had got cut off of a meeting we was in. So that's the stuff that people deal with. But you don't want them to say something. Now, at the same time, the black government, because it's the black government, we have to talk about them too. We have to talk about the black government. Hold on, let's say Jawan says, I wish all people over there, all over how the multinational corporations exploit resources from not only Africa, but Latin America, causing massive poverty of billions of human beings all over the globe. Oh yeah, they've been done Latin America in. They have siphoned all the resources of Latin America. Listen, just go to Latin America, or if not, just read Confessions of an Economic Hitman. These people siphon all the resources they can out of Latin America. And they still got some oil in certain places, but these people literally have sucked Latin America dry, okay? And if they find some new resource, here they come like vultures to a carcass. And here they come. Everywhere they go, it's like the vampire thing. You're sucking the life force out of everywhere you go. Have you noticed that? You're not breathing life into nothing, nowhere. You're sucking the life force out of everything. You're trying to corrupt everything. Have you noticed that? They talk about China, and I don't see the Chinese. Now, the Chinese do some predatory lending, but, at the end of the day, that's your fault. You signed that. You shouldn't have signed that with them. You should have told them, nah, we're going to do a particular deal, but because some people are so silly, they just sign anything, right? Senators say trust and believe Captain Ibrahim Traoré will fix and restructure Africa economical crisis. Speaking about that, West Africa. Do you know they was having a coup in Ivory Coast? Now, that's the country right next to Burkina Faso, the one that Langley was going in, and that president was working with Langley because, against, Traoré. Well, they had a coup. Now, I heard two different stories. I heard it wasn't successful. I heard it could have been, but I don't have official, but I heard that there was a coup that started on the 21st. And, if it wasn't successful, but let me say something about that. The youth in Africa, they tired. You talking about somebody being tired. They're tired. And they ain't playing. And one thing them brothers and sisters are learning real quick, the white man's form of government don't work for black people. It don't. It can work for them, but it don't work for black people because you notice that if you look at the Ibrahim Traoré thing, right? Okay, it was a coup. He got rid of all that so-called democracy stuff, and look how well it's running. All you need is one good man and some loyal people, and watch what you do. Watch. Now Burkina Faso is benefiting off of their own resources now. You think them other African leaders not looking at that? The president of Ghana been looking at that. He's like, hey, man, hold on. And that's why he been making some moves now. And that's why Trump and them like, oh, well, Ghana not safe. Oh, Ghana not safe all of a sudden because now Ghana starting to circle their wagons. Ghana just created, I think, somebody reported about that. They have this new gold organization. Like, nah, y'all not going to be coming here taking this gold no more. Y'all got to come through us now if you want anything. You're not going to just come take, so the moment Africans start saying, nah, the hell with y'all not coming here taking nothing no more. All of a sudden, it's a problem. Now, Ghana's not safe now. What happened? I ain't heard nobody in Ghana not being safe. Brother Stanley, who works here, I talk to him all the time. He lives over there in Accra. He ain't tell me it wasn't safe in Ghana. He didn't tell me that at all. There's a lot of FBAs in Ghana. I ain't heard them say it wasn't safe. Now, of course, I thought it was quite interesting how they blew up a video from a woman, which I've seen that lady before, go to Ghana and talk about how she didn't have no snacks. And I'm like, sister, you shouldn't have been talking about no snacks in that video. You just kind of open yourself up to some clowning, to roasting. But listening to that woman speak, I can literally tell you was not prepared to go where you were going. Okay? I never understood anybody just packing up their bags from America and moving to a foreign location. I don't care if it's Ghana. I don't care where it's at. And then thinking you gonna do good and you don't have enough income to do it. Like, do you know how much research it takes? Dr. Latasha and Mark Blanton was one of the people I really applauded the way they moved to South Africa. They just didn't up and leave America. It took them years of visiting, years of establishing relationships. And then once they got in the right position that they can do it, they were so established financially that they can just go over there, buy their house, set up their business, set up everything, and they wasn't over there talking about they ain't got snacks because they did it right. It took them some years, but they did it right. You don't just up and leave America like that. That's stupid. Then get on the internet, oh my Ghana is so bad, and they do this and do that. No, you were the one. No, it wasn't Ghana, it was you. I wouldn't move to we're going to Ohio. I wouldn't go move to Ohio just from today to tomorrow, and I didn't go over to Ohio. I didn't go research it. I didn't see what the layout is. Would it work for me and my family? Can I make money here? Do I like the weather? Like, you just don't up and move to a state in America like that. That's dumb. You're supposed to go and check it out and make sure everything's good before you move anywhere. Now, you can go visit anywhere you want to, have a good time, and come on back to America, right? Cool. But I just don't like when people make them silly videos like, bro, like, can't you just go to that country, stay on a 90-day visa, and just see maybe if you like it for 3 months? And if you can hang with it 3 months, then you come back to America, regroup, like, do some time over there. You can't just up and leave America and just go to a foreign nation with a different culture and think it's going to be America. I mean, that's silly to me. God, I hate when people do stupid stuff like that. The ones that Libya couldn't use its own oil, they used a black president to, Obama was not a black, who's the first person that said this and he caught heat? Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman said, we haven't had a black president yet. He said we had a biracial president. We haven't had a black president yet. And boy, y'all remember how much heat he caught for saying that? Morgan Freeman was really one of the ones that was really preaching delineation, because he didn't call Obama black. And as we have learned over the time, people like Obama, and I'm not talking about, because they got some brothers and sisters who have that same genetic makeup, and they are riders. They have been, because they were raised with FBA parents and stuff like that. So they taught them right. But I'm saying Obama in particular, or people definitely with a foreign background, right? Kenyan father, mama from here, but that father, what he gonna teach him about FBA? Anyway, Barack Obama, we have learned from Barack Obama. We have learned he didn't do nothing for FBA, not a thing. But it's not about a Barack Obama and all of that. Let's stick to topic. So let's go back to what we was here in this video with this man here about South Africa. Wrong one. That was one from earlier today. Let me go ahead and remove that one. Let's get back to where we was at. Was it here?
Issues came up.
What video did I just remove? I removed the wrong video. Sorry, guys. I got to go add the video back. I removed the wrong one. Sorry about that.
Is there a white genocide in South Africa?
No, there's no sign of it. Never has been. In fact, whites are economically the strongest group. They benefited from democracy more than anybody else. 64% of all boardrooms in South Africa are still white. The average income of white South Africans are vastly higher than black South Africans. No. There are better schools, there are better education, there are private health care. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
Has any land been expropriated in South Africa without compensation since the first all-race election in this country?
I'm not aware of anyone. Not a single farm that I'm aware of was expropriated without compensation since 1994.
So how do we interpret President Trump's executive order?
It is possible that South Africa has offended the United States with his policy on Palestinians, and it could be that with his policy on Russia, the ambiguities of those policies and its relationship with the Chinese. It could be. I think that does play a role. But there was something very, very sensitive that.
Okay, yes, that's a lot of it too, because they took that case, they took Netanyahu and Israel to the International Criminal Court, and they put out an arrest warrant for Netanyahu, and so that angered, Trump and them, that a black nation would do something like that. So that's number one. Number two, they in BRICS. So they're dealing with Russia, they're dealing with China and all of that. Now, when they was asking Trump about crime, why did you ask Trump about crime? Trump can't handle the crime here in his own community. You should have asked the Chinese, like, how do you deal with crime? And give me the tools of how to deal with crime, because I notice in your country, people don't be committing crime like that. And China tell them how to get it done, because China got a lot of people to handle. You have to rule that country like with an iron fist. That's way too many people to get out of hand on you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I probably would ask my Chinese friends over there. I'd probably ask President Xi and say, hey, give me the game, man. Give me the game on how, because over here, I got some of these problems. So what do I need to do, man? Just tell me what laws I need to change, and maybe some things I can implement. And we're going to do that. We're going to get this crime fixed. That's what I would have did. I wouldn't go talk to Trump about nothing. Please. How he going to talk to Trump, and Trump is not doing anything about these freaking school shooters? Let's talk about that. I'm not going to Trump or nobody in this country talking about how I'm going to fix some crime, and they can't fix and protect the children in elementary school, middle school, high school, and college campuses. They can't protect nobody. I wouldn't go to them talking about no crime, please. In South Africa, y'all don't have that going on. So yeah, y'all may have some crime, but y'all don't have that. What I look like going to them about anything. In reality speaking, the American government at one point in time did support the apartheid regime. It was the American government that helped give information to capture Nelson Mandela, to put him on Robben Island. They couldn't even deal with Nelson Mandela like that without the CIA helping. Because when I went to Nelson Mandela's home, and if those who went to South Africa and went to his home, you see all that stuff going on with that. And he talked about how America helped the apartheid regime capture Nelson Mandela. And when I went to Robben Island, and Robben Island is way away from the land, right? So it's not like you can just swim back to the land like that. I guess it was almost like an Alcatraz type of thing, if you want to kind of liken it to something, right? Now, the, great Khalid Muhammad, his issue was why South Africans let him stay in prison that long, because he felt that, about a good 1,000, 2,000 should have got on some boats and went broke Nelson out of there, which I can agree with Khalid Muhammad on that because the numbers are on their side at that time period. You know, for that brother to spend 27 years on Robben Island, that's, you know, and there was some atrocities went through there because when I went through that hallway where that cells were at, where Nelson Mandela was at, man, got some spirits in there, boy. I felt it. I'm like, man, you feel that in here? And we was there, I'm like, man, I was telling Brother Sharif, I'm like, man, bro. And when the moment we got out of there, we didn't feel that no more. I said, man, it was some evil going on in here. You know, tortured them brothers out there, sisters. You know, Steve Biko, they beat him to death out over there, tortured him to death over there on Robben Island. They were beating them with the rubber from a tire. They would beat them with that. They would do all kind of things to them because they were fighting for freedom. Now let's go back. So we're talking about the income. So on the wall in Robben Island, they had the menu. So the menu was broken up by race. So you had any white people that was there, had whites, Indians, coloreds, black. And based off of that, it tells you basically white people get more meat, the Indians get less, colors get less, black people get the least. When it comes to coffee, white people get the most sugar. That's how it went. And it's crazy if you look at their income disparity, it's literally still following the apartheid order. So now let's get to that Afrikaner, apartheid Afrikaner, Elon Musk. He puts out a lie and says that he can't bring Starlink into South Africa because he's white. He said that. He can't have Starlink in South Africa because he's white and they're going to take 30%. So I say, what is he talking about? So I took it upon myself to do some research, brothers and sisters. What'd you say? I told you I can't do it. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. That's fine. Anyway, so I said, what is he talking about this 30%? So the first thing I wanted to find out was, do South Africa require 30% of your business? And the first thing he said was like, no, South Africa don't require you to give up 30% of your business to a black person. That's not true whatsoever. Now, because of this income disparity, there was Black Economic Empowerment Law that was created to try to correct this disparity. And based on that Black economic empowerment, you get a BEE score. And if you get 50 or more employees working for you, they're going to look at, okay, how many people you have working for you. And with BEE, it includes Black South Africans, it includes colored, it includes Indian, it includes people with disabilities, it includes women, okay? So if you have a lot of your staff being that, then your BEE score is higher. And if you have, like, you put a black person in like your senior level management as well, if you put a black person on the board, things like that, making major decisions, your BEE score goes higher, right? Now, what Elon Musk is mad about is if you have a low BEE score, you can't get government contracts and licenses. So once I read the law, because, you know, we read over here, right? We read. Once I read the law, I said, oh, I see why he's mad. He don't want to hire black folk. That's what it is. Then I thought about all the court cases he's had in this country about his higher-ups in management who have been white, have been anti-black racist, and Tesla having to pay out lawsuits because of their anti-black racism. So he wants to go there, hire all the Afrikaner boards, and don't have no black folks working there. Maybe he'll let some Indians in there, but he don't want black folks in there like that. So he'll lie and say, well, they won't let me have, a company in South Africa because I'm white. Well, here's the issue. When Donald Trump and President Ramaphosa was meeting, they admitted that there are 600 companies in South Africa from America. Do y'all really think all 600 of them are owned by FBAs? Do you think all 600 companies in South Africa right now that's from America is owned by FBAs? Let me give you two companies right off the bat that's not owned by FBA. In South Africa, I went to McDonald's. I wanted to try see what was on their menu different than in America, because I don't eat McDonald's here in America. But I've heard in different countries they have different menus that's like more so the local population. So I went to the McDonald's over there by the, when I stayed at over there in, what was that? In Rosebank. That Voco in Rosebank. I went over there. And, they had a different menu. I tried the food or whatever. Is McDonald's owned by white people, Elon Musk? Because last time I checked, it's not owned by FBA. White people own McDonald's Corporation. They're on the board of McDonald's Corporation. Sure, some FBAs have some franchises. Sure. But do they own the company? So that means that you're lying. Because if they did not want white companies in South Africa, McDonald's would not be there. Yes, doggone, let's talk about that, traveler. KFC. I seen KFC in South Africa. Definitely in Johannesburg. Now, class, is KFC owned by FBAs? Is that an FBA business? No. It's owned and controlled by white people, okay? And because it's owned and controlled by white people, that means what? White people are doing business every day in South Africa. So stop lying, you wicked apartheid era Afrikaner. Stop lying. And let me pull up real quick some of the other major corporations that's there that we know good with. Hold on, let me see. Let's say in South. Let me see. Hold on, I'm pulling it up real quick. Give me a second, cause this dude loves to lie. All he do is lie. Just give me a second. It's pulling up. Does it feel like to advertise on your YouTube channel? Where can I find the info? No one answers my emails. Probably because you sending it to the wrong place. Go to our website and go to where it says it has a drop down in the contact section and hit select advertise, and then send us a message through there. Okay. Yes, that's right. I seen them there. Apple is operating in South Africa. Elon, that's not FBA owned. Microsoft, yeah, I saw them there too. They're in South Africa. They're not FBA owned. Amazon is doing business there now. Ford, and I did see Ford there. Yes, I seen the Ford dealership. Clearly, that's not FBA owned. Well, Coca-Cola, we talk about KMC. Who else? I'm talking about businesses that you do know. Airbnb, that's an American company, right? White owned. And they're doing businesses in South Africa, doing business in South Africa. Cargill is another one that's doing business. Abbott Laboratories. It's so many companies doing business. So if Apple, which is one of the biggest companies in the world, is doing business in South Africa, stop saying because you're white. No, Apple don't have no problem hiring black folk. Coca-Cola, who's operating there too, have no problem. McDonald's, when I went to McDonald's, guess who I saw? Black folk working. See? So they don't have no problem getting into South Africa because they don't have no problem hiring black folk. You want to be racist and not hire black folk, and your BEE score is going to be low, and you can't get the licenses and the government contracts that you want through the government. So you're going to lie and say, they don't want me there because I'm white. You lying devil, you. I listen, and the reason why I say you're lying devil, because if you're lying, you're speaking with the voice of Satan. All these people do is lie. That's why I've said this before, and I'm definitely saying it now. If they breathing, they lying. Even your breaths are lies. Oh, I'm glad y'all said that about him bringing his folks over here. So one of the dudes that got interviewed by the BBC that left, the dude that said he left, you remember that I did the story on the guy that said he left his five bedroom home, his mama, his dog in South Africa, he was escaping the genocide. Do you know that dude, not only they found his social media rabid anti-black racist, which I'm surprised, right? But this dude is part owner of a mining company. Okay? I thought you were just some poor person that was escaping the rabid black people that's just trying to get you. This dude, like that dude said, the milk and honey, but he came over here, and I know Elon knows that dude. Because I thought it was quite interesting. Like, that's all the amount of people y'all let over here? Why? What's up with them people? Because the one dude they brought over here, he had to look all about 400 pounds, 425. Like, he not going to work no farm. He does not work no farm. Because most dudes I know that work a farm, they not 400 pounds. Sorry, they not. They usually in shape. Because they outside working all the freaking time. They ain't got time to eat sometime. That hard work like that, you're not going to have no weight on you. How you gonna sit up here talking about you a farmer and some of them look like they ain't worked a day in their life? Come on now. Prime One says Africans unite. It's so simple, my brothers and sisters. You're a resource and naturally rich. Yeah, and see what they're not liking is this about the Ibrahim Traore thing. What they're not liking about him is that other African nations are paying attention to him and say, wait a minute, hold on. Look all the money he's keeping. Like, wait a minute, we don't have to be poor? Hold on, we could benefit from our own resources? And then they say, look, a lot of them are greedy on a good day. And they're like, hold on, man, I think we may have to follow that footstep because, man, I'm liking this. I'm liking some of the stuff they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people, all it takes is one person to make a change. One person could change the world. One person. It don't take a whole lot of people. Sometimes it just takes one. One righteous cause. Yeah. Danielle said they the fattest looking refugees I've ever seen. Yeah, I've never seen refugees that overweight. Never seen it. Most refugees not getting good meals. So why they got weight? That's what I'm saying. But they're afraid of their life, y'all. Oh, they refugees. Oh my God, we need to take them in. And then they get mad saying, oh, y'all don't want them over here because they're white. That's what it is. No. The fact is, everybody know it's a white supremacist propaganda. It's a finesse. And people are calling that out. Even the Episcopal Church said, nah, we good. We not working with y'all no more. Y'all finessing. And you know that's ran by white folks. So even other white people are saying, nah, we don't want to be part of that. Nah, we cool. Interesting, right, ladies and gentlemen? This stuff is so interesting. Now, let's talk about it before I wrap up, because I got some other work to do. Let's talk about your boy Diddy. Your boy Diddy. They say that today, they're talking about Kid Cudi. He testified today. And, the prosecution wanted to ask him about, they heard about that alleged incident where he's talking about his car blew up. And, at one point in time, he was fooling with Cassie. Well, finding out, Cassie was fooling with Kid Cudi and Diddy at the same time. Boy, that Cassie was just getting around like Tupac's song, right? I get around. She was getting around. I'm like, y'all sure y'all want to put y'all case on Cassie? Y'all should have chose another victim. I mean, a real victim, I'm going to say. Because I know Diddy got some real victims out there. But Cassie, I don't think I would put my case on her. She got too much dirt in the street. Way too much dirt. Cassie, do you know that song, that Me and You song? She was with Ryan Leslie. He the one basically got her on, wrote the song for her. And now, if this dude took you from nothing to at least that point, she went on ahead and left Ryan Leslie. She was with him for a couple of years, and she left him to go with Diddy, thinking, oh, Diddy gonna make me bigger or whatever, instead of being faithful to Ryan Leslie. See, if she had stayed with Ryan Leslie, she wouldn't have got no eggs swung at her. See, that I can do better stuff, huh? Okay. That's a lesson out there. Sometimes you need to stick with the person you're with. Stop thinking all the time you can do better out here. Because sometimes better, you could be getting involved with a villain, a monster. Because we ain't heard no stories about Ryan Leslie whipping her or making her do no freak offs or putting her drug. We ain't heard none of that about that dude. She never said nothing bad about him like that. That's the only thing because like I said, I even got daughters and all that, and the way I'm talking, I talk to them too. I'm like, don't always think, oh, I can do better than him. You're like, man, if a dude is trying to invest into you and dude is like, sometimes have some doggone loyalty. Have some loyalty. And that's why sometimes when you think the grass is green on the other side and you find out that green grass you thought was greener, that was grass paint. Because that was a bunch of hay that you went into. The real grass was where you was at. The hay was over there. And they sprayed that hay with that, because they got that spray for your grass, right? And make it look so green, right? And that's what they see. It's greener over there. Oh, I'm gonna leave this real grass that's growing slow, but it's growing, to go over there with a bunch of weeds and hay. That's fake. Then you want to circle the block sometime and try to come back, and the dude like, nah, I'm good. Stay over there where you at, and you messed up your situation. Well, anyway, they say your boy Diddy was, at Kid Cudi's house, and actually Diddy got into his house, and he said he called Diddy, and Diddy like, yeah, I want to talk to you. You say, man, you in my house? You know what I'm saying, man? They say allegedly Diddy put the dog in the bathroom. Diddy didn't hurt the dog. He didn't hurt the dog. He ain't hurt the dog. But Diddy was at the man's house, right? Now, about the car blowing up, they'll say it was a Molotov cocktail that was thrown into Kid Cudi's vehicle. They cross-examined him about it, and he didn't know who did it, but they said with DNA testing said a female did it. So they don't know who did it, but clearly Diddy didn't do it. Not to say Diddy went behind it, but he didn't do it. But the defense got him to admit that Cassie played him. He said, yeah, she played me. She did. She played me with him. So basically, it's, tying more into Cassie's character. Because Cassie, like I said, I don't view Cassie as a victim. I'm sorry, I don't. I didn't feel sorry for her. Because she was, to me, no different than Ghislaine Maxwell with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't feel sorry for her. Not at all. You say, how am I seeing the trial? I am looking at the transcripts and watching reporting and looking at transcripts. There's plenty of the transcripts are out there. You can look at it, if you would like. No, they don't. I don't like that they don't show the trial, because I'm like, our federal tax dollars is paying for that court, so why can't we see the proceedings? But they have no cameras in federal court, no audio recordings in federal court. The Supreme Court, well, I think they let them do audio there, but why can't we see what's going on? I think they do that because they don't want lawyers to learn, I guess, the strategies they use in federal court, I guess. I'm talking about the federal prosecutors, I guess. I don't know. I guess they have to learn by just going against them. Maybe that's some of that, because, if you can watch the tape, you could, as a lawyer, you can really say, oh, that's a strategy they like to use. And if you're a lawyer that likes to study, and you can be watching so much tape, like a football, it's like, how a football coach, he watch film, and he'll watch film from maybe a whole season of a team and notice a pattern and say, oh, that's what they like to do? Okay, all right. So it could be some of that too, that maybe they don't want the other lawyers to learn the patterns of federal prosecutors. I'm just saying. But yeah, Kid Cudi had testified and everything. So, you know, I mean, Diddy's team, I mean, they trying their best with him. I mean, I think it was smart for them to admit that, yeah, Diddy like to whip females. He do. But it's not a domestic violence case, so you can't, even though you say, oh, man, Diddy beat women. Yeah, he do. But he's not on trial for domestic violence. If it was domestic violence, guilty. But he's on here for trafficking. I'm like, I don't really see the trafficking. Drugs, yes, they showed all the drugs and all that stuff. Because, like, I still don't understand why he had all them drugs in there when he about to get picked up by the cops. Like, brother, you know, I wonder what kind of withdrawal he went through in prison, because this dude needed so much drugs. I'm surprised this dude's still alive, how much drugs this dude takes. What else nasty came out of that trial? This nasty. Talking about part of the stuff with the freak offs is he wanted a thing called a pump master. Now, I was like, what in the world is that? Well, a pump master is like at the end of this machine. It's a machine. And it has a toy on it, more so for women, a toy. And they cut on the machine, and you can just imagine what the toy do to the woman, right, with the machine. Diddy wanted that at all the freak offs, okay? Diddy, I'm sorry, people say, oh, that's not being a freak. That's being a devil. He do too much. He do what? But you know, they have a thing that say this. You can make so much money that normal things don't please you anymore. And I'm like, okay, maybe you didn't took on the devil at that point. Because if Diddy was just normal, messing with women, but they said they had freak. Now, I've been hearing this too. There were freak offs with no women involved, just men. So that part of the case gonna be coming out too. Now, you know, people gonna get repulsed by that you know, that side of Diddy, you know. But we kind of, I mean, it is what it is, you know. But you still got to prove the trafficking part. That's the only thing I say. And so far, I haven't really heard the trafficking. I just haven't heard it. Now, Boosie had a take on it, though. I think I talked about this the other day, and I said, man, Boosie was right. Boosie was saying, man, they get Diddy on this, they coming for all of us out here. He said, you flew any girl out. He said, you know, you gave her $1,000, whatever, you know, because you want to give her some money. He said, now they can come after you for doing that. I'm like, yeah, fellas, you probably just need to go ahead on and get you a girl, get you a wife or whatever, stick with her, and that's it. Because it's getting a little too wild for y'all out here. They trying to lock y'all black men up, okay? So go ahead on and settle down, get out the streets, get you a good lady, you know, or whatever, and just chill with her, and that's it. Keep you out of trouble, fellas. Keep you out of trouble. It will keep you out of trouble because you can fly your wife everywhere and nobody can say nothing. You know, I guess you won't, you know, you can't do it on paper, but I guess you want 2, 3, 4 wives. If they all cool with that, I mean, of course, you can't legally marry them in the United States or whatever. It's amazing. You can't have 3 wives, but you can marry a man as a man, or a woman can marry a woman, but you can't have 3 wives. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I'm thinking, hey, I'd rather see somebody with 3 wives, you know, just be honest with you. You know, hey, at least there'll be more kids. In America, you need workers, right? So maybe that's one way to get workers. But they'd be like, hell no. Them Negroes will have 20 kids each relationship. Probably so. they don't want a black man having 3, 4 wives. Oh, hell no. Not a black man. There'd be so many doggone kids. Man, please. They'll get overtaken in 10 years. The white people like, how did the black population then grew about 40 million in 10 years? How'd that happen? Because he got about 3 or 4 wives. That's what happened. All right, y'all. You say private marriage contract? Yeah, they don't want brothers to have no 3 or 4 wives. Not brothers. Oh, no. See, they know Brad shooting blanks out here, but brothers? I mean, brothers out here, some of these brothers out here already got 3 or 4 wives. Think about it. They can't stay faithful to one. They got about 3, 4, 5 all over town. They can't stay faithful at all. They might as well put them all in one situation in the house. They work that out. They have all their kids. You don't have to worry about no child support. Everybody take care of the house. Do you? I'm just saying. What's the point of all that messing with this one now when you cut down the drama? I mean, if you're going to do that, I mean, I couldn't do it. No, Lord, I'm happy with my wife. I can deal with all them problems. But some men like that, you know. But yeah, they'll never legalize it. Oh, no. No. They trying to get America more white. Y'all having 3 or 4 wives? But you got some Afrocentrics out there that will do it. You know, say, hey, you know, it's 3 of us and 1 of him. We cool. So, and when I say Afrocentric, I'm talking about, you know, the sage and all that. That's what I mean by that, okay? And shout out to y'all. I'm not against you. Shout out to you. God bless you. But anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and take care of this other stuff. Yeah, Cynthia. You always talking about, you say pimping and sex trafficking, the game never changed, just the people. Yep. The mindset never changed. Well, let me go ahead and go, y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one.